Hello and welcome to the posing room. Welcome to the first YouTube of 2025. And today I'm going to be going through my 4 posing predictions for 2025. Now, if you're not familiar with me or the posing room, my name is Leonie West. I'm an Ifbb Bikini Pro. I'm also a posing coach of about 7 years now. And I consider myself to be somewhat of a posing analyst. Not only do I teach it, but I live it, I breathe it, I study it, and I'm always trying to understand where it's evolving, where it's going, and it's always evolving and it's always going. So this video is about predictions, trends perhaps, I think changes that we're going to see in 2025. Now, it's important to understand that usually when we start to see changes, within a division, whether it's the posing, the presentation, the look, or sometimes even the format of the show, it doesn't just happen overnight. It might seem like it happens overnight. You might, walk into a show year, and everyone's all of a sudden looking a bit different or posing differently. And you're like, "Whoa, I didn't get the memo." And usually that will be the result of something that happened in a previous year, maybe a couple of previous years ago, and it'll start a snowball effect, and then one day it's just mainstream. You can liken this perhaps to high fashion. What we're seeing on the high street this year in 2025, high street fashion, actually is the result of something that we saw on a high-end catwalk show, maybe last year, maybe the year before. And that's how it works with posing, bodybuilding, all these kind of changes that we start to see this evolution too. And it's been an evolution. If you saw my previous YouTube on the fit model category, I've been doing bikini since 2017 in the NPC. So I'm almost a bit of an OG. I remember those old ways of posing that is coming into the fit model world. Um, and I've been through that evolution and I'm quite fascinated with it. So let's crack on. Prediction number 1, shorter routines. Why, Leonie? Why shorter routines? Well, the judges and the Federation have been pushing it actually for a while, if I'm honest, but we're stubborn and we don't listen. But last year, as I was, watching the year unfold, I did start to notice that some bikini pros were starting to do shorter routines. In a pro routine, we walk, from side stage to the back of the stage, usually in the middle, do a pose. Sometimes a couple if you're feeling extra, walk to the front of the stage, do your routine, then walk to the back of the stage, do a couple more poses, then walk back to the front of the stage, then walk off. It's quite a long routine, usually. But I noticed last year, and actually a couple of times the year before, but last year it was a little bit more prevalent. Some of the girls were not stopping at the back of the stage when they walked in, they were walking straight to the front. Some of the girls weren't even doing their walk to the back of the stage. Some of them were just walking on, doing a routine, and walking off. Like I said, not all. It was a small minority, but something that I started to notice. And then when we went round to the Olympia, it became a little bit more apparent to me. Some of the big names who I'm always eager to see at the Arnold's, at the Olympia, what they're going to come out with their posing, because they always bring something a little bit fresh, and I'm keen to learn about it. Um, and yeah, a lot of them were not bringing that new move, and a lot of them seem to be doing a lot shorter routine. I later found out that they'd been told 45 seconds, just 45 seconds, get it done, get off kind of thing. And that's what they had to do. Um, and it worked really well. And this is the thing when, something happens at the Olympia, that definitely tends to end up at the amateur shows as well. So if the judges and the organizers have seen that 45 seconds worked really, really well for this huge amount of girls at the Olympia, you're going to start to see this trickle down into the other shows in 2025, I think. So almost certainly the pro shows, they're probably going to get really, really pushed to stick to that 45-second mark. If it's a busy show, at least. Maybe if it's quieter, perhaps not. You want people to get their money's worth. But again, that's going to trickle down to the amateurs, I'm pretty sure. Another thing that we have to bear in mind is we now have Fit Model, and Fit Model have been given 10 seconds. 10 seconds. That is absolutely crazy. So they're going to have to be really, really punchy, really bouncy, like, really flow through those routines really, really quickly, show what they need to show and get off. And again, I think, we might see that sort of upward trend because of that, like if they're pushing the new division to be a bit faster, again, I think that they're going to put pressure on, the amateur bikinis to be a little bit faster with their routines too. And the other knock-on effect of having Fit Model is obviously we're trying to push another division into these shows. Now, last year, 2024, was a little bit quieter, I thought, at some shows. Not quite as many bikini girls out there. But this year, I'm pretty sure all those girls are going to be back. Those girls will have had an off season. Um, those shows aren't going to stay quiet forever. So we're going to have this influx of bikini girls back on stage. We're going to have a whole new division back in there. Pretty sure what the organisers don't want to see is all of a sudden shows overrunning because we have this new division, because all of these new girls are coming back after off season. So yeah, in a nutshell, I think prediction number one, I think we are going to see shorter routines. So what does that mean for you girls? Practice shorter routines. Keep it simple. Which leads me on to prediction number two, keeping it simple. I think we're going to see a lot simpler, a lot slicker routines happening this year. If you've got less time, you can't do as much flow, can you? And I do think this is a really good thing, if I'm honest. Now, I want to caveat something here because if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see, I do a lot of posing videos with lots of flow. One, I'm a pro, so I get a little bit longer than the amateurs. Um, I'm a posing coach. So it's my job to know how to do every move out there. If I'm watching the Olympia and I see a new move, I'm going to practice it. And it's my job to practice it. And it's my job to be good at it. Not because I need to stuff all of that stuff into one routine for me, but because I'm a coach and, I need to be able to work with girls and see something in them and go, I've got a move for you. Right, I think we should do this. Okay, so it's my job to practice all of those things. It's also in my interests to attract new clients. So when I'm doing a routine on Instagram and it's got a whole load of stuff in there, it's because I'm trying to peacock a little bit. I'm trying to show you what I can offer you. I need you girls to see something in me so that I can give it to you. But does that mean that I am doing all those things that I'm showing in those videos in one routine at the pro level? Definitely not. In fact, last year, like I really, really worked hard to try and simplify it a little bit, which was tough when you're practicing every single move under the sun, not to put them in there. But I did try and simplify it a lot. And I think both at the pro level, both and the amateur level, we are going to need to simplify things for time's sake. But I think it's going to be in our best interest too as well, because it has got a little bit over the top, some of it. Especially like when we look into some of the other divisions, wellness as well. That's become very, very flamboyant. Um, and, me as a posing coach, when I see some of the girls doing all of these things, they come to me and they've practiced a routine with everything in it. And it's like, wow, it's really, really impressive and it is beautiful and they're executing it lovely. But it takes away from the physique. Sandy Williamson, who is the head judge, has been saying for years, keep it simple. Keep it simple. Just show your poses, front, back, get off. The more time you spend on stage, the more time you're giving those judges to pick up your flaws. You know, the more moves that you make, the more sort of distracting it can be. So my ethos last year, with the girls that I was coaching, and definitely going into this year, is keep it simple. Find one wow move. I call it your wow, right? One, you know, extra move. If you want to be extra, find that one extra move, that one wow move. You know, find your one pose that is incredible, that really shows you off, and then, frame it with a wow move before or after, but keep it to one. That one thing that the judges go, "Oh," and that's it. But you don't want the whole routine to be, "Oh," because usually is, I don't know what's going on here. It's all a bit much. I'm a bit overstimulated by this. Um, so keep it simple. I think, we need to keep it simple. I think the judges want us to keep it simple, and um, I think it looks better. Okay, prediction number three. Obviously, we're going to have less time, which means we're going to have to keep it simpler. I I'm not sure whether this is prediction, or more of something that I really, really want to see because I'm really passionate about it. Um, but I think we should make it a prediction. We should make it a trend. And that is developing our brand on stage. I'm just such a huge fan of Maureen. I think she is the best poser on the planet, the best poser on the planet. And I think some people are a little bit puzzled by that because she doesn't do anything extraordinary. She's not doing any crazy moves. It's a very, very simple routine. But what she really, really brings to the table, and I'm in awe, I'm in love with, and I just can't take my eyes off, is she brings this personality, this energy to the stage. You know, it's this confidence. It's just crazy. I'm constantly posting about it. So, go and have a look at my posts on Instagram, and I will continue to post about it because I think it's the way forward, it's the future. And it's the way she connects with the audience, the way she connects with the judges, the little wink, you know, the way she walks. It's a simple walk, but it's got attitude, it's got confidence. And, I'm sure she's a confident person. But I think also that confidence comes from keeping it simple. When you keep it simple, when you keep it slow, when you're not trying to do any crazy stuff that you're a little bit nervous about on stage, you can really focus on the judges. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right? The audience and the judges. That's what it's about. So this is something that I am working on for myself. I'm quite a nervous person on stage, so I think it would be good for me to slow down, to keep it simple. Um, but I really want to find that sort of confident energy. And it's not just Maureen. When you look at Laura Lee, like she does have one wow move in every routine, but it has her personality in it, or at least the personality she's trying to project, it's a completely different energy to Maureen's, but it's it's just done with such confidence and it's all in her face. And so many, like all the best pros at Olympia, the ones who are really, really, the names, this is what they have. They have this sort of stage brand. And it's something I'm going to really, really work with my clients on this year. So that was prediction or want, hope, need for 2025, number three. And finally, my final prediction. It's not just about opposing this one. This is just in general. Fit model madness, mayhem. As my flatmate just said to me, it's going to be a hot mess. It really is. It's going to be crazy. Like I said, this isn't just posing related, but I think it's something we do need to sort of take a breath and remind ourselves of. This is a new division, um, completely new. We have been given um, some criteria, some steer on it, but it's very, very light touch. We know that the front pose is Ashley Kay's OG front pose from 2015. Cool. We've been told the back pose is the bikini back pose. Cool. We've been told you get 10 seconds for fit model. We've been told not to stop in transition poses. We've been told you want to be less muscular than pro bikini. And we've been given some guidelines on the posing suits. But other than that, we have no standard to go on. We have no idea what the judges are really, really looking for. And between you and me, I'm pretty sure they're not 100% sure yet either. I think that's why the criteria is so loose because they want to see where it's going to go and it is going to evolve. Like I said, I am almost a bikini OG. I've been around for 7, 8 years. I can never remember. But it's evolved massively since I've been here. I was a tiny little thing, as we all were back then, with some really cringe, awkward posing, as we all did back then. We all had the slightly bigger pants back then. For you Americans, sorry, that's briefs. I think you use the word briefs. I'm really not sure. Um, but it's evolved over all this time, and this division is going to evolve. Now, what am I trying to say here? What I'm saying is it's gonna be a mess for the first year, right? As I said, they've given us this loose criteria, but I'm a posing coach. I've got a take on what this should be, from the posing. I've read the rules. I know that we don't stop in a transition. I know, we have the OG front pose, etc. Um, But I see it, like I said, being quite bouncy, quite fast because we've got to get through it quickly. I see it being a bit more sort of model. That's my take on it. Am I right? I don't know. Am I wrong? I don't know. There are other posing coaches out there, doing more of this sort of WBFF diva kind of stuff, obviously with the actual poses that we've been given, but they've got a different take on it. There are others like really teaching a very bikini routine. That's a take on it. When we come to the prep coaching, every single prep coach has their own vision of what this is going to be. I've watched so many podcasts with so many bikini pros and people within the industry, and they've all got a different take on what the look is going to be. Even Team Atlas versus Team Elite Physique. You watch their videos on this, they've both got a slightly different view of what this is going to be. And the thing is, no one's right and no one's wrong at this stage. And I think this is what we're going to find when we get on stage. Everyone looks completely different. It's going to be a real mishmash of girls. Everyone's going to have a different posing style, you know. Even the bikini makers have all got their own take on a fit model bikini. Um, so it's going to be crazy, but it's going to be really exciting. But what I'm saying is we need to bear in mind and go in there knowing it's going to be a little bit all over the place. And the girls are going to have to be really resilient, very resilient, because it's going to be hard because they're not going to know what it is that they are trying to project to these judges. And we're probably not going to know until mid-year, maybe even later in the year, maybe even by the time some of the girls have like gone into off season, you know. But they've got to be resilient and got to be resilient. And they've got to really take that feedback from the judges on board about, the look that they're going for. But also when it comes to posing, us posing coaches are going to have to be very reactive and go, right, actually the posing is going in this direction. I know this was my vision, but now, no, it looks like they're picking girls who are doing this. And it's okay, because this is exactly what happened in bikini. Years and years ago, it evolved, but I think this is going to evolve very, very quickly within the year. Um, so yeah, it's going to be crazy. We need to be resilient. We need to be reactive. There are so many posing coaches out there, girls. Obviously, I'm a posing coach. I would love you to come to me, but there are so many out there, and I have faith and confidence in them all. But when you're looking for one, just make sure that you pick someone who has actually read the criteria. Like I said, a lot of people are perhaps not picking up on the fact that it's only 10 seconds. Not picking up on the fact that We're not supposed to stop in a transition pose. So make sure that you read those criteria thoroughly and you're comfortable with what is needed from you. And when you're picking a posing coach, make sure that they have read the criteria as well. I think that's a really important thing here. But also make sure you are working with someone that you work with really well and you're very comfortable that that person can be reactive with you, can take on this feedback that's going to come back fast, or, be watching your shows and be like, okay, you were doing something a little bit different from everyone else, and it looks like the judges liked what everyone else did. Let's change things. Or, the judges said your glutes need to look a little bit more like this. Let's see if we can do something with your posing. Um, so yeah, we just need to not take things to heart. Everyone, the athletes, the posing coaches, the prep coaches, the suit makers, we all have to be right. We're ready to change it at a drop of the hat because none of us know what the hell is going on. And oh my God, isn't it going to be exciting? It is. Because at the end of the day, as I said in my previous video about Fit Model, if you're coming into this year, you're an OG. You're a pioneer. We're all pioneers. I'm going to be a pioneer as a posing coach. And, in 10 years' time, when other people are looking back at, where Fit Model started, you're going to be there at the start of it. You could be in one of those pictures. You could be the first ever Fit Model Pro. Who knows? I think it's so, so exciting. I'm excited. But yeah, hot mess. It's going to have an effect on everything, on everyone, on the duration of the shows, on, the style of the suits, the posing. We just don't know. But have fun. Um, and I got you. Anyone's got you. We've all got you. Don't worry. We're all here for you. Anyway, that was my 4 predictions for 2025. Let's see if they come true. They might not. But I think whether they do or they don't, I think we should bear all of those things in mind. Like I said, keep those routines short as possible, keep them simple, work on our personal brand and our confidence, and just do what we can with Fit Model, but enjoy it. Thank you for listening, and I will talk to you soon. Um, Feel free to follow me on Instagram and feel free to reach out to me for online posing. I do online globally for fitness model, for bikini, for wellness, and I also do some in-person posing in London. Should you be there at any time? Bye. Have a good time.